in the name of Jesus. Because Jesus told us to do it just that way. And when we need it, you said you would supply all of our needs according to your riches in glory. Thank you, Lord. Now, Father, we stand here with your people, and we ask that you anoint these lips of clay, give us a word to say that can be beneficial for some soul. Bless the leader of this flock of people. Give him strength, courage, guidance, wisdom, and Lord, give him health. Bless him in every way that he needs your blessings. We ask you to bless all of these hearers that are in the sound of our voice. Then give us strength to do this task that's been assigned into our hands. We ask these blessings in Jesus Christ, and we thank you, Lord. And we thank you, Lord. And we thank you. But three people tell God loves you, and so do I. Spirit of the Lord is here. I can feel it in the atmosphere. Spirit of the Lord is here. Spirit of the Lord is here. You feel the Spirit? The Spirit of the Lord is here. Spirit of the Lord is here. I can feel it in the atmosphere. Spirit of the Lord is here. Oh, yeah. Spirit of the Lord is here. Come on, just put their hand up there and reach. The joy of the Lord is here. Joy of the Lord is here. Yeah. I'm so glad to be able to feel the Spirit and the presence of the Lord. I want to give deference tonight to this great leader of yours, this Bishop Martin Luther Johnson, one of the Church of God in Christ, resident theologians. We appreciate Bishop Martin Luther Johnson. I can remember when he was, I'm talking about your bishop, man. If we was in Texas Northwest, they'd be turning flips. And there's nothing wrong with letting everybody in the world know how much you love your bishop. Yes. Bishop Johnson is an outstanding leader. I remember when he was bishop over the armed services, chaplaincy. He's always been, he's had that army mentality that things must be done right. And yet, he uses the wrong side of the golf club. Yeah, Bishop Johnson and I play golf together frequently, and I hope y'all don't put him in. out of the church for playing golf. What we can do is a whole bunch of us is gone. I thank God for having a friend like the Bishop Johnson. You never have enough friends. And when you find a friend, you want to hold on to your friend. Bishop Johnson came to West Texas, and we enjoyed him thoroughly. And he told me that he was going to have me to come here. And, I hear that a lot of times, but folks don't always follow through. So I wouldn't have held it against him if he didn't, but he brought me here. So I'm here. I want to thank God for these administrative assistants. Superintendent Page. Superintendent Love. I want to thank the Lord for Brother Gorham coming and picking me up, even if we got lost. Gorham trying to find that car for a long time. He just told me, he said, why don't you just go and stay over here for a while I look for this car. Yeah, but we finally got it, because we're here. And certainly I'm grateful to see an old friend of mine, Brother Porter. I saw him over in Pennsylvania when I was over there. I'm grateful tonight for all of these pastors and elders, superintendents, to State Supervisor Mother Brown. It's always a pleasure to be in the house of the Lord with all of you. I really came to prepare to preach something, but since I've been here and looked at your topic, this will preach, but I just don't feel preaching it. If y'all don't mind, I'm just going to talk to you a little while. Now, many times people have the wrong expectations or different expectations from Texans because they think Texans are hoopers and so on and so forth, which they are in general, but I'm from Kansas. That's what y'all know. I am from Kansas. I moved to Texas. And I'm going to tell you one thing. See, I've been in the Church of God in Christ 64 plus years. All my life. I was born here twice. Because I'm a third generation. As a little kid, like this little child over here, I used to sit on the front row. And everything I did it in the church. Good, bad, and otherwise. I'd be sitting on the front row, and I was a talker. When I would look up, he would be sitting beside me. I just knew judgment was coming. But you know, I am so glad that we have a real history in this church. We have something that is worth holding on to. And when you stop and think about what we really have, when you try to recapture the intent of the original event, you stop and think about where you come from. You stop and think about how God really poured out His Spirit in your life. Yeah, it's worth remembering. And one of the things, and I'm going to read a scripture here for you. I think I'm just one of the things that I think became so paramount in my life was going to Memphis. And I can remember I think about 1959, when I was there in Memphis, and down that little side area where they still walk out. There's still a little side area there. And Bishop Mason was coming out that side area, and that's kind of how he'd have his little entourage. And he came out that side area, and he tapped me in the head. And I didn't know, I just knew he tapped me in the head. I didn't know until later. Grandma, some of them told me, oh no, he gave you a blessing. But those men in that day did just that. They could bless you, and God granted their wishes. And it's because they had a power. And where did the power come from? It came from the fact that they spent time with Him. Now I'm going to tell you, you never will have what you want from God unless you spend some time with God. You got to spend some time. And sometimes I think what we need to do is just do a lot of reflecting. I think too often we now I'm not trying to say that we shouldn't move forward, because we definitely have to move forward, but sometimes you ought to remember some things. You ought to remember where God brought you from. There's some things that you shouldn't have to go back through. These are some treacherous times that we live. You stop and think, and of course you in New Jersey really have, and right here in the city, Trenton, your own governor had the nerve to come out of the closet. Now, he should have stayed there. You don't need to come out. All it does is invite more to deal with satanic forces. And I'm going to tell y'all, whether you believe it or not, this thing, see, they want us to become politically correct and just accept anything. But as members of God's church, we cannot accept anything. You got to stand for something. I had some folks talking to me the other day, and they want to know this and that and so on and so forth. And I heard someone say, well, I ain't saying nothing because, I don't want nobody to know. I want everybody to know where I stand. I'm not afraid to tell you where I stand. I'm standing on the Lord's side. Let me read just a few words, and I'm going to tell you, I really must not have been prepared for this, because I came off even without my Bible. I'm going to read from Bishop Johnson's Bible. I think it reads the same way. 2 Timothy, the first chapter, beginning with that third verse, it says, I thank God, whom I serve from my forefathers with pure conscience, that without ceasing I have remembrance of thee in my prayers night and day, greatly desiring to see thee, being mindful of thy tears, that I may be filled with joy, when I call to remembrance the unfeigned faith that is in thee, which dwelt first in thy grandmother Lois and thy mother Eunice, and I am persuaded that in thee also. Wherefore, I put thee in remembrance that thou stir up the gift of God, which is in thee by the putting on of my hands. For God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and sound mind. Therefore, be not thou therefore ashamed. I'm trying to find a place where the light hits it right. Be not thou therefore ashamed of the testimony of our Lord, nor of me his prisoner, but be thou partaker of the afflictions of the gospel according to the power of God. Now, I'll tell you what I'll talk to you about for just a few minutes. I will talk to you about, on this subject, things worth remembering. Things worth remembering. I think if we can ever get back to the place where we can recapture and remember what we really went through when we got where we are, it'll have a tremendous effect upon us. You know, there was a time in our church when we really spent hours before the Lord tarried. Bishop Mason really had kind of this theory that because, when he went to Azusa, he spent time tarrying for the Holy Ghost and stayed there tarrying until he got it. He instituted that. And I'm going to tell you, it took me a long time to get it. I wasn't a bad kid. I was just mischievous. I was in trouble a lot. I'm one of the few kids that got 5 swats with a saw in school. Yeah, the industrial arts teacher took a saw. He would bend it back. It took 5 of them to hold me over the desk. Yeah. I was kind of a pesky little rascal. But when finally, I'm going to tell you, it took me a long time to get the Holy Ghost, and it wasn't that the Holy Ghost wasn't here. It was just that I had to tarry to get myself ready to receive the Holy Ghost. And when I finally decided that I wanted more than anything else, man, the Holy Ghost came, and I was wondering why it took me so long. Some of you can remember the experiences that you went through tarrying for the Holy Ghost, and some of you can remember what you did when you got the Holy Ghost. You wanted everybody in the world to know. You wanted to tell folks. You wanted people excited because you were just so excited you could not keep it to yourself. Oh yeah, and you start thinking about what God has done for you since then. You start thinking about the times when you were close to death. Yeah. I had many occasions, I can say, now unlike a lot of folks who get saved and stay saved forever, because back in the day, if you messed up, they put you out. You didn't get to just stay in church, you still saved and you mess it up. You was out. They put me out. They put me out. I just tell you like it is. I messed up. Now, some folks don't like to say they messed up, but I tell you just like it is. I messed up. And there were times when I know that I should not be here now, but God had something for me because I can remember, when I would call myself bad and out, I had a little pistol in my pocket. I'm going down to the little place and some of you, all y'all ain't been saved all your life. Going down one of those one-door joints. In the one door. Some of y'all been in some of them places. Go in there, and one time I remember I got into a terrible scrape. And the boy that I was into it with was known. He had killed people before. Well, I had left my gun. Come find out he left his gun. He ran out to get his gun. And my friend said, he stuttered. He said, that's a James boy. I ran out of that place. I got out of that one door. Y'all heard Tennessee Ernie Ford say, render brides, render bushes, render fishing, render go ran so fast the house could get down. Let's go. I was running in backyards. That's back when they had clotheslines. Lord, I'm telling you, I was running and ducking and then going over hedges, but the Lord brought me out. Oh, I know I shouldn't be here. I know I shouldn't be here. I've been in too many tight places where I know that it's only God that's there. See, when we get to the place where we think we are so holy that we can't let nobody know that we've been there, people can't really be blessed because you are at a place where they can never attain. Well, you got folks struggling every day trying to live right, and they think that you've never messed up. So sometimes you have to just stop and remember where God brought you from. There's some things in all of our lives that are really worth remembering. Yeah. See, even Paul had some things that were worth remembering. There were some things in Paul's life that he really didn't particularly like to bring up, because there's some things you shouldn't bring up. You didn't hear Paul talking about all the time, talking about how he drug folks out. Just when he would say, now look where God brought me from. Yeah, I used to drag him out of the house because I didn't have better sense. And so all of us have been through those times when we just didn't have better sense. Paul had certain things that he just really felt was so important. So here he's writing to, he called him his son, Timothy. Now, Timothy, of course, was his son in the gospel. And here he says to Timothy that I thank God for you. And I pray for you. And let me tell you something, my brothers and my sisters. One of the most important things for us to do is to have that prayer for each other. You see, part of what brought us this far is intercessory prayer. Every time I got into trouble, I knew without a shadow of a doubt, I was brought up by my grandmother. Every time I got into trouble, Grandma called prayer meeting. Oh yeah, she did. She goes, Grandma called a prayer meeting, and when the folk would get there, they knew they was praying for me. I knew it too. Back in those days, when you come into the church, when they got ready for the altar call, you was going to be on the altar whether you wanted to or not. Now, I'm going to tell y'all something. The altar does not hurt anything. Oh, we try to make it so mystical now, but I think we really should come. We ought to have folk coming to the altar. Saved folk, it don't hurt you to come to the altar. You come there and lay your burdens down. Paul had he was so fond of Timothy. Timothy was his son in the gospel, and he told Timothy, you know, I cried when I thought about you, and I prayed for you, and Tim, you've got some real problems because you are a little bit on the timid side. The temerity that you are showing, it really, Tim, if you're really going to be this giant in the gospel that you must be, you're going to have to become a bold saint. You're going to have to get some backbone and stand up for the Lord. And I'm going to tell you, God can't use no coward soldiers. He said, Tim, I know that there is an unfeigned, a sincere faith that is in you. I know it's in you because it was in your mama and your grandma. I know it was there. And whether we want to admit it or not, we got to admit that most of us young men, we had, most of our grandmothers took care of us. That's right. Grandma did it, and Grandma prayed, and Grandma, and even this is what kind of surprised me, that Paul says for Timothy, I know it's your grandma too. So here he says, you got to remember that you have that faith that's in you. But Tim, I don't want you to get yourself bogged down. Sometimes you got to work on what God has given you, and you got to stir it up. That gift is in you. Stir it up. You need to stir it up. So he says to Timothy, now, Tim, you got to know that God has not given you certain things. First thing, he hasn't given you a spirit of fear. And Timothy had some fear in him because of what he was facing. See, now, people never know what you're facing when you've been through some stuff. They just see you dressed up, looking good, and they think everything is lovely, but they don't know the times that you had to cry. They don't know what you've been through. Timothy was facing some things that many of us will never, hopefully we will never face. Even though Paul was sending Timothy to be, in essence, the bishop over the church, there were things going on in Rome and all around the area that Rome controlled that was really frightening. You see, at this time, Nero was kind of he was a madman. He was a Hitler in Rome. Nero, and I'll tell you how bad he was. He was so bad that Nero actually did what we would call urban renewal. And he wanted to burn a little of Rome down. And so while he was burning Rome, a little place down, he was kind of renovating it. It got out of hand and burned the city down. Well, when he burned the city down, Nero, he was kind of off. He got in a secluded place and started playing on his fiddle while the city was burning down. But when he burned the city down, the folks started blaming Nero, and Nero said, it wasn't me, it was those Christians. It wasn't me, it's those Christians. That's why the city got burned down. So then the people started doing some crazy things. One of the things that they did, they decided that they were going to get rid of those Christians, and so they started running Christians. They would turn dogs loose on them, and one of the reasons they would turn the dogs loose on them because the Christians had a place where they could go and they could hide, and they would go down to, in Rome it's called the catacombs, and they would go way down deep in the ground in the catacombs, and those soldiers wouldn't go too far. But they found out what we can do is turn them dogs loose. And the dogs went down into the catacombs and chewed those Christians up, and they would chew them up. And later on, when the dogs had left, those saints would come and bring some lights down there and on the stick, and they would put those. They'd take the bones up and take the remains and just dig a hole in the side of the wall and put them in the side of the wall. So the Christians had a hard time. Not only that, Nero had another little favorite game that he played. It was called night lamps. And what he did was they would chase Christians down, and when they got close enough, they would throw flammable material on them, and then they would hang them up on a pole, and at night they would light them for a torch. They had games. I mean, Nero had some games. He had some games. In fact, one of his favorite games was called Lions versus the Christians. So he would take them into Circus Maximus, and when he would get down to Circus Maximus, they would all go into the arena, and when they would get those Christians into the arena, they would get the lions when they were hungry enough and then turn them loose. It seemed like the lions always won. So, for some reason, Tim was squirmish. Tim had a little timidity. But Paul comes to tell him call some things to your remembrance. You cannot be timid. You got to know that God has not given you the spirit of fear. See, fear causes us to be reluctant to give of ourselves. Fear will blind you. Fear will make you leave your post of duty. Fear will make you get to the place where you will never stand for anything. He said, Tim, God has not given you this spirit of fear. And he was talking about a deadly fear. That deadly fear is a reluctance to give of ourselves because we just don't know. It's not necessarily scared. You know, some of us are scared. I told him the other day in my congregation, I say this because I ain't scared. No, I ain't scared. God has not given you that spirit of fear. But he said, Tim, he gave you the spirit of power. Now, power comes that dunamis power, which is in essence, it's an inherent power which has the ability to reproduce ourselves. Power, that dunamis power, is like dynamite. This is a substantial building. This building is solid, but I'm going to tell you what, you put dynamite under this building, it'll blow it up. When you put the gospel under sin, it'll blow it up. The gospel will expose sin. The gospel will abolish sin. And in fact, the gospel is like an x-ray machine. It'll let you see how you stand before God. He said, now, listen. He gave you the spirit of power. And then he gave you the spirit of love. And that's an eros love. See, some folks get the wrong kind of love. We get that... I'm sorry, it's an agape love. We get the eros love in the agape situation, and that's when stuff gets messed up. You gotta have agape, you gotta love folks in spite of. It's hard to love somebody who don't love you. It's hard to love somebody who mistreats you. And that's why God said you gotta love them that despitefully use you. You gotta love everybody. You got to love even the unlovable. Some folks are hard. Let me tell you, it's hard to love some folks. I'm telling you what I know. Lord Jesus. I was telling Brother Walter there today, Brother Gordon, I was telling him about how I had men in my own jurisdiction who were upset with me becoming the bishop. I became the bishop at the age of 40, and I had not lived in Texas but 10 years. I come from Kansas, and I moved down there 10 years, and I hadn't pastored but 9 of the 10 years that I lived there. The first church I got, Bishop sent me to a little bitty church down in Levelland, and I was still pastoring that when Bishop died. And here I hadn't pastored but 9 years, and you had guys there that pastored longer than I'd been in the world. And there was 130 churches, and 10 men wanted to be the bishop. And here I am. But God had not given me the spirit of fear. So I'm sitting there, and when Bishop died, some of those older men came to me because of the way I served. And I'm going to tell you, it was simply because of the way I served my bishop. It wasn't because I was smart, because I wasn't smart enough. It wasn't because I could maneuver, because I couldn't maneuver good enough. It wasn't because I had money, because I sure didn't have enough finances. It was just because God said, you're the one that I chose. And everybody started, well, he got it made, what. But see, what they don't know, a lot of folks don't know that some of those very men who didn't want me to be there turned me into the FBI. I spent 2.5 years under investigation from the FBI. They could tell you what kind of toothpaste I use. I spent time under the thumb of the IRS. See, a lot of times folks think, oh, you got it, man. You don't know. You don't know what folks are going through. Timothy he was apprehensive. But God gave him the spirit of power and of love. And then he said, give you a spirit of a sound mind. Sound mind comes from that Greek word sophronisnos, because sophronisnos is really, that is peace in the midst of storm. See, sometimes you're going through some storm. You going through and troubles on every side. But you learn that it makes no difference what kind of troubles I'm going through. I'm still in the hands of the Lord. Whatever I'm going through, I'm just going to remember where God brought me from. I'm going to keep a sound mind. That's why he said, I'll keep you in perfect peace. Mine is stayed on me. You got to know, you got to know that God that still is in control, regardless of what's going on. There's some things worth remembering. So Timothy had some problems here, but Paul says, Tim, I'm going to tell you what, you don't need to get down and out because you're having problems. Everybody has some problems. And I'm going to tell y'all something. Ain't no need to throw up your hands because you're going through some troubles. I know you have troubles in your churches. I know you have troubles at your home, but you don't give up because you're having troubles. You stop if you have to and think about the good things. You think about how brought you out. Yeah. Some of y'all know he really brought you a mighty long way. So Tim, don't get excited. You haven't got your feet wet yet. You know, they used to tell me, boy, you still green behind your ears. They call me a diaper bishop. It don't make no difference what they call you. What you got to know is that God's still on your side. Look, boy, you got to have some things worth remembrance. And I'm sure that Paul told Timothy, he told Timothy some of his real intimate things because he was trying to let Timothy know. Now, see, I've gone through some things that none of y'all will ever go through. And some of you have been through some things that you hope nobody else goes through. Can I get a witness here? Mm-hmm. And so Paul said, now look, Tim, I'm going to tell you what, I've been through some real things. That's the reason I'm here in this jail right now. He was writing Timothy from the jail. He said, the reason I'm in jail right now is because of my stand for the Lord. I refuse to turn around. I thought I was on my way to different places, but my whole focus was I got to go to Rome. I was just focused on getting to Rome. Why was you so set on getting to Rome? He said, because Rome is the capital of the world. Rome is in that day, Rome was where Greek was spoken. And if you didn't speak Greek, you were a barbarian. In Rome was every form, fashion, and style. But he said, the thing that I got to do, I got to get to Rome because I got to let them know that I'm not ashamed of the gospel of Christ. For it is a power. It's psychological power. Power is ecclesiastical power. Power is the power of God unto salvation. So I said, boy, hey, listen, I came to Rome knowing that they'd take my life. And some folks said, well, look, Paul, if they're going to take your life, well, Paul, no need of you going down to Rome because taking your life is not worth it. Paul said, y'all just don't understand what I've been through and where I'm going. He said, if you really, really knew where I've been, you would know that for me to die is Christ. Not to live is Christ, but to die is gain. I'm not worried about losing my life. But the thing I want you to know is I'm in God's hands. I can remember where God brought me from. I know I had to pray to the Lord. I asked the Lord, I said, Lord, will you take this thorn out of my flesh? And somebody said, well, what was the thorn? And we don't really know what the thorn was. But in fact, but now he did say to Timothy, you know me. You know my doctrine. You know my manner of life. So I think, I don't know when I got to trying to find out what that thorn was. It could have been just that Paul was so short. I know we thought Paul was that big, tall. He wasn't tall. He wasn't handsome. He was short. He was 4.5 feet tall. He had a haircut like your bishop. He was bald-headed. Paul was bow-legged. He had a little hunch in his back and an afflicted eye because that noonday sun messed his eye up and the eye would leak. And whoo, look where he brought me from. Brought me out of darkness into a marvelous light. Oh, look where. It's only when you've been through. It ain't necessarily when you're going through. It's only when you've been through that you can remember. You just look back. Say, yeah, boy, that was tough. And you know what? It's something about it when you through it. It ain't as tough. You can laugh at it. Woo, honey, you remember when FBI was on my trail? I wasn't laughing when they was on my trail. But now, the Lord, and that's what I tell folks, but the Lord. See, when I stop and think about it, I get happy. And see, sometimes folks just can't get me. I don't have to be in church to get happy. I go out on the back porch and I sit out there on the back porch. I look at my tomatoes and I look. I just get happy. Now I don't go to shout because I got a knee implanted here and I don't have but one good one, so I ain't shouting. That's all right. But I can remember when I used to shout. So even sit down, I might do a little shouting like this. Because I know where God brought me from. And if you know that God brought you out, I want you to just go and testify to about 3 people. Tell me he brought me out. He brought me out. He brought me out. I know the Lord brought me out. It's only going through that you can really testify. You can remember how good God has been to you. And as I close, let me say this. When Paul had been through all he had been through, he left it on record. And then somebody, I think it was this great singer, I can't remember what his name is, but y'all remember when I called the song, he told us what to do when you've done all that you can do. Just don't let nobody make you give up. You just tell them, no, I ain't going nowhere. I remember what God has done for me. I'm going to stand. I'm going to stand. If nobody else stands with me, I know what God has done for me. Stand. I'm just going to stand. Grandma used to say it like this. Hold to his hand. God doesn't change his hand. You ought to hold. God doesn't change his hand. Give your hope for things. Hold to God. You ought to hold to his hand. And I'm going to tell you, some of you are going through some things now going through. I'm not talking about you haven't come out of it, but you're going through. And I'm going to tell you why. I believe the Lord sent this message tonight to tell you you can make it. See, you don't have to stay in it, but you can come through it. And I want you, if that's you, I want you to come up. I don't care what nobody says, what nobody talks about. If that's you, come up and let God bring you out. If that's you, I want you to come. If that's you, I want you to come. God's starting to change. Woo! Feel. Whoa. You can just get all the way across here. Now, let me tell you something. See, many times what Satan likes to do is he likes to plant a thought in your mind of discouragement. He wants you to feel like it's hopeless, that there's no way out. You know, and he'll use sickness. And I'm going to tell you this, and I don't know why this just comes to my wife. We were getting ready to go to Memphis in November. And the doctor came on that Friday. We were getting ready to leave that Sunday. The doctor came to my office that Friday evening at the church. Now, I don't know about out here, but doctors don't make house calls. Right. When the doctor came, now, I'm a man of faith. I believe God, but my heart skipped a beat. I got nervous. I knew he'd been checking my wife out. He told me, said that, Bishop, I don't want y'all to go. I know you're getting ready to go to your church convention, but we've got to check your wife again, because in that CAT scan we see something that we don't like. So she had to go back. Sure enough, it's cancer. He said it's laying on her kidneys, on her, I don't know, a whole bunch of them things back wherever that is. Pancreas. He was hoping it wasn't pancreatic cancer. That's what he said. All the different things. So, you know, the first thing that happened to me, I cried like a baby. I just, ooh. After I've told all the people, I've told them that I've counseled. I've said, what are you crying for? You don't know what's going on. Wait till you get an examination and the doctor tell you what it is. That was good for me telling them. It wasn't worth a dime for me. I don't even tell folks that no more. I cut that out. That's one part of my counseling that I say erase. Yes, sometimes the unknown causes us some fear. And that's why, you know, when you say, Lord, I have faith, but help me in my unbelief. Yeah. We went through that. Some folks are saying, don't have it. No, you don't need no operation. Just have faith. God gave the doctor sense enough to know how to operate. She had the operation. And when they went in, we were praying. I called your bishop to pray. I called everybody. I sent an email out to everybody, every bishop in the whole brotherhood. I said, I want y'all to pray for my wife. Sometimes God takes folks that you pray for. But sometimes he don't. When they went in there, the doctor come out and told me, he said, We got it in a package. Envelope, that's what he said, envelope. He said, it did not attach itself to the kidneys. It did not have no attachment to the pancreas. It wasn't attached to nothing, so we took it all out. She's just a little tired. That's the only reason she ain't here tonight. Because normally, when I go someplace, I like to take my baby. I do. I like to take my baby. I don't want nobody even think I'm looking nowhere. I love my baby. And I'm going to tell you something. That taught me so much. You've got to get to a place in God where even when things are so tough, you have difficulties calling on Him, you can just remember. Yes, sir. Just remember where He brought you from. Just remember how He brought you out before. And when you start with your renewal, God starts working miracles in your life. Don't throw in the towel. Tell the devil he's a liar. I trust in God. I'm going to tell you, God has a miracle. He has a miracle for you. I don't care what it is that you came up here for. God knows. Because He knows. You don't have to go back home the way you came. You don't have to go back the way you came. God knows precisely what you need. He knows what it is. He knows. And He cares. He knows and He cares. God will. God will. God will. God will. God will. Be not dismayed. Whatever time, God will take care of you. Woo! Glory. Whatever you came up here for, I want you. Just like James said, no wavering in doubt, no double mind. I want you to believe God for it. And listen, you can stand on it because you can say, God, I got a little pocket of doubt, but help me in my unbelief. And I'm going to stand on the preacher's faith because the preacher talked about how you brought him out. It's no secret. If you did it for him, you can do it for me. I'm going to believe it, and from now, henceforth, it is done. Now, if you believe that, I want you to just hug 3 people up here. Tell them it is done. Hey! It is done. It is done. It is done.
Now to Him that is able to keep you from falling and to present you faultless before the presence of His glory. The only wise God, our Savior, glory, majesty, dominion, and power, both now and forevermore. Let everybody say,